Okay. So I think I'll get this game started. I'll just so anyone can come in even when it started. Hmm. Yeah, no problem. Take your time. So Daniel, we started this game here. I'm just gonna put the link in. So I'm just showing my side right now because not a lot of people it's just me playing right now. So yeah, I put the link in the chat so you can join anytime. So it's a game where we kind of we have to answer questions and then we get energy. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that game, we went through a lot of the topics in that game in terms of what we've done so far in class. And yeah, so we'll go over what I went through this last week. There's this assignment. It's a 5% assignment for the class where you have to make a how the market works account. So it's a 5% bonus assignment. So you go to howthemarketworks.com and then make an account and buy stocks. So this is my portfolio so far for this. And yeah, so make an account and buy stocks, and yeah, just take a screenshot and send it to me of your account. So you can make a trade by clicking stock slash ETF. So make a trade. And what stock would you want to buy? I'll ask Kelsey, which stock would you want to buy if you had a choice? Like any company. Think of any company. Yeah, like any company. Yeah, anything that any company that you would want to buy. Not an issue. Yeah, so we have like 1 million to trade in the virtual account. Tesla, okay, cool. So Tesla, so how many shares would you want to buy? So it's at $207.47. 100? Okay, cool. So 100. If you have a real investment account, I'd recommend you do a limit order. So you would set it above the current market price of 207.47. So I'd set it at 208. But let's do that. So click to preview order, click to confirm order, and this makes sure that it goes through at a price that we limit at, so we don't lose money. So that's great. Thanks, Kelsey. So Daniel, how about we try? Yeah, good point, Daniel. It's his his he isn't focusing enough on the company right now. So yeah, it's kind of a risk because he's got too many eggs and like, he's got too many focuses right now. Like he's CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter. So that's a big risk. So that's a good point, Daniel. Um, my theory with him is he's gonna put them all into one company called X.com. That's my theory. So he bought the domain name for X.com. So I'll show you X.com. So he owns this. This is his. So that's my theory. Yeah, that's probably yeah, like Ford. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So he owns X.com. I do believe he's gonna merge SpaceX, Tesla, and Twitter together into X.com, and it'll be worth trillions. That's what I believe because he's got too many eggs in too many baskets. I think he's got too many irons in the fire. So I think he's gonna put it all under this X.com. That's my theory.
I can only see your game kit screen. I don't see
Oh,
the other one.
sorry. Oh, I apologize. Sorry about that. Thanks for
Very
letting me
good.
know, Daniel. Sorry about that. So, thanks for letting me know, Daniel. That's great. So here, this is so bringing it up here. So the portfolio here. So our portfolio right now is like this. This is stocks that I own in this portfolio. So, Daniel, which stock would you want to own if you had a choice? Oh, you said Ford, right? Ford or Amazon?
Yeah, I would say either one of those two. Too.
Okay, cool. So let's we buy both. So F is the Ford symbol. So it's this one here. And then how many shares do you want to own, Daniel?
I don't know. Let's do 100 too.
Sure, 100. Okay. So then we set a limit price to keep it to ensure that we don't buy it above that price. So maybe we'll set it so it's at 1351. Maybe we'll set it at like 14 because when the market opens it might go up to 14. But it will probably buy it about this price anyway. But this will be the highest price we can buy it at. So maybe we'll just do that. Click to confirm. And then let's put Amazon in too. So make a trade, AMZN. So it's at 90.98. How many shares do you want to buy of Amazon, Lewis? Daniel.
I don't know, maybe 100 as well.
Okay, cool. 100. Great. So limit, let's maybe set it at like 91.50 just in case it goes up to 91.50. So we have some space. So if you do want to open up a brokerage account, like a real brokerage account, this is a good training for it because it operates the same way. Just make sure you do limit orders because limit orders they keep you safe from losing money. So like if you are buying a stock, set a limit buy order above the market price. So in this case, 91.50. If you are selling a stock, set a limit sell order below the market price. In this case, 90.50, let's say, because that's the only way it'll go through. Because that is the only way it goes through the system. And it limits your loss. So like limit orders are very important. So yeah, that's I wanted to show you that, and then I'll show you so this is the assignment here. So we have so read Portfolio's Almanac. It's all about investing. So click on this link, and the book is here. You just have to open it up at a free account to read the whole book, and then apply the lessons and how the market works. And yeah, that's the assignment. I'm just going to bring it back up here. So then I want you to open up an account on Freedom on how the market works, and then send a screenshot of your trading to the Dropbox, and then I'll check it. And you can send me updates on how your stocks are doing. But this is a good way to learn the stock market. And then I posted another discussion board. So what companies in Canada have too much market power? How would you reduce the amount of market power that these companies have? What is happening to the economy due to market power of these companies? So we've had 3 submissions so far. So one of them. So what companies in Canada have too much market power? RBC, TD, and CNR. So too much market power because they own too much of the market for banks and railroads, and then making them more, bringing in more competitors will reduce the market power. And yeah, that's a good answer by Haybat. So Haybat did a good job there. And then just gonna make up the other ones. So Ibrahim, we have Abraham's one. Yeah, Bell and Rogers would be a good example, Kelsey. Yeah, if you wanted to do that on Bell and Rogers, that would be a good example. So this one, so yeah, like taxation would be a benefit from all these companies to the government. So taxation, market power is beneficial because of taxation. So that's a good point that Abraham had. And then Alejandro, so Alejandro talks about Competition Act forbidding anti-competitive acts, and the government can provide subsidies or tax cuts and improve the competition of companies. And then the banks having too much market power and making it more difficult for banks to operate and making it more competitive. So these are good answers for the discussion board. So I recommend you can do it during class. Let me know if you do it during class, and then I'll talk about it. We can go over your response if you do it during class. just let me know if you're doing it during class because that's perfectly fine, and then we can go through it. But that's a good. Wanted to go through that, so let's start going through the material for today. So here it is. And thanks for showing up, Kelsey and Daniel. Really appreciate it. And Devin Shu is coming. That's great. So we're going to go through oligopoly today. It's another market structure. So oligopoly has a few large producers, concentrated market power, homogeneous or differentiated products. They can be a homogeneous oligopoly or differentiated oligopoly. They have control over price, entry barriers, and mergers. So can you think of any examples of oligopoly, Devanshu? Are there any examples of oligopoly you can think of? What about Kelsey? Can you think of any examples of oligopoly? Yeah, Bombardier. Yeah, that's a good example, Daniel. Yeah, Bombardier. There's not like Bombardier, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, SpaceX. Yeah, Rogers Bell. Yeah, good examples. Yeah, Rogers Bell, Shaw. They would be an oligopoly. That's a good example. A good job, Daniel. So the oligopolistic industries. So it's an oligopoly if the percentage of total industry sales was 40% or more by the four largest firms. So Bell and Rogers would account for that for sure, 100%. I would say the banks in Canada, BMO, TD, RBC, Bank of Nova Scotia, and CIBC, they would definitely be an oligopoly because they'd have a four-firm concentration ratio of 40% or more for sure. Yeah, that's a good point, Kelsey. Yeah, Air Canada, WestJet, Porter, they'd probably be an oligopoly. Yeah, Lewis, yeah, Daniel, that's very true. Yeah, I would say Nike, Adidas, and Puma, they would definitely be an oligopoly. Yeah, that's good examples. Yeah, I would say that Nike, Adidas, and Puma would be an oligopoly in the shoe market. So that's a good point, Daniel. That's great. So the Herfindahl index, it shows so you would take the percentage share and square it for each company. So it'd be percentage share of, let's say, for the shoe example, it'd be like the Herfindahl index. It would be percentage market share of Nike squared plus percentage market share of Adidas squared plus percentage market share of Puma squared equals Herfindahl index of that market if there were only these three producers. So this would show the market power of the industry. So in this case, the Herfindahl index of tobacco products is highest. So that's the most oligopolistic market, and then brewery products would be the second most oligopolist market. Then potato chips, pretzels, and popcorn would one second. That's great. So then motor vehicle. Sorry about that. So then motor vehicles. That's great. That's great. So then motor vehicles would be the fourth most oligopolistic, and then it goes down from there. So Herfindahl index shows. So Herfindahl index. So the high Bill confesses. His best strategy is to confess. So since both of their best strategies are to confess, since both of their best strategies are to confess, they both will. But the problem is that if they both confess, they both get more prison time. However, if one confesses and the other doesn't, the one that confesses gets less prison time. So they have to be betting on getting, they have to be betting on the other person not confessing. Yeah. So they have to do that for it to work for their best interest. So the Nash equilibrium here is that they both confess. That's just the likely outcome because they both think that the other won't confess. So game theory is used in oligopolies. So let's say two firm oligopoly producing athletic shoes. So we can call them Rare, Air, and Uptown. So we could also call them Nike and Adidas because it's very similar. So like they have two pricing strategies. One has price high, price low. Okay. Oh, just in a bit. Okay. So so there's two pricing strategies: price high or price low, and the two companies can't talk to each other. So we assume that, and this would lead to a conviction of price fixing under existing laws here. So they can't coordinate with each other because that would be anti-competitive, and that would violate a lot of the price fixing laws in Canada. This is so yeah, like they can't coordinate with each other and talk to each other to set prices. So in this case, the Nash equilibrium is priced low because if so like the dominant strategy of Rare Air is to price low because they will make the most profit. Make the most profit. And the dominant strategy of Uptown is to price low because they will make the most profit. However, if they both price low, they make less profit. Therefore, one has to price low and the other has to price high for the company that priced low to make high profits. So it really requires the other company to price high in this case for them to make the most profits. So this happens a lot in like with Bell and Rogers. Like Bell could price high, Rogers could price low, and then Rogers makes more profit than Bell. But if they both do it, if they both price low, they're gonna both make less profit. So this happens a lot with Bell and Rogers and other types of, so Adidas and Nike. So like let's say Nike prices low and Adidas prices high. Nike would make a lot of profit while Adidas makes not a lot of profit. So it really requires one company to price low and one company to price high in order for the the company that prices low to make profit, a lot of profit. So also, yeah, companies might collude where they would work together to set prices where they would both maximize profits. So a lot of the time when they collude, like collusion is when they work together to maximize profits. So they both set their prices where marginal revenue equals marginal cost for the industry, and they both maximize their profits. But in this case, they need to work together as a joint monopoly. So that in that case, they got to work together like a monopoly, even though they're two separate companies. So they can do this through collusive pricing and price leadership. So it's possible. So this is what they call a cartel. So they do this to fix prices, divide up the market, and restrict competition amongst themselves. So they do this to maximize profits, and they act as a like they kind of act like a monopoly in this case. So they kind of join together. The companies join together and seem like a monopoly. And then they set marginal revenue equal to marginal cost to maximize profits for the companies. So they do this. It's illegal. This is not allowed. Like people aren't allowed to, like companies aren't allowed to do this. It still happens though. But they have to be very clever to do it, even though it's very illegal. So a cartel is a group of firms or nations that collude that formally agree to the price, set output levels for members. Collusion is legal in Canada, and this happens. So so oil companies do this through OPEC. So the OPEC nations control about 34% of the world's oil and 34% of the oil sold in the world market. So these countries band together as OPEC to collude for oil. So obstacles to collusion, there's many obstacles to collusion, including demand and cost differences, number of firms, cheating, recession, new entrants, and legal obstacles. So oligopolists would rather not compete on the basis of price, maybe become involved with price collusion. So So then we'll go through advertising. So advertising is a low-cost way of providing information to consumers, enhances competition, speeds up technological process, and can help firms obtain economies of scale. Advertising can be manipulative. It can cause misleading claims that can confuse consumers. Consumers pay high prices for a good while forging a better low price, an advertised version of the product. So, so these top 10 brands here, the top 10 brands based on the brand's market share within the category, brand's world appeal across age groups and nationalities, loyalty of the consumers of the brand, and the ability of the brand to stretch to products beyond the original product. So all of these companies include Apple, Google, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, IBM, Toyota, Samsung, General Electric, McDonald's, and Amazon are the world's top 10 brands. So this one-time game here, so the dominant strategy here is they would both go international because they make $11 in profit. So it's similar to the other ones. So if Dramco, if Dramco went international and Chipco stayed national, Dramco would make more profit. If Chipco went international and Dramco went national, they would Chipco would make more profit. But if they both went international, they would both make less profit. So like if one of these companies wanted to make more profit, they would have to risk going international and guess that the other company will stay national. So that's the risk there. So then, so game theory and strategic behavior, credible threats, threat is believable by the other firm. So you need to worry about the other company doing the same thing as you are. Like with going international, if both companies go international, it's not beneficial to go international. So you got to kind of trust that the other company will stay national. So that's a big thing with credible threats. And then repeated games is a game that recurs. So like a company might cooperate and not compete strongly. Like that does happen. So Coca-Cola and Pepsi do that. Boeing and Airbus do that. Walmart and Target do that. Nike and Adidas do that. So repeated games here. So it kind of goes back and forth. Like they can go to promo budget, normal budget, back and forth, and figure out which is more beneficial to them. And then they kind of change and change and change. So Thirst Q would change from promo budget to normal budget. Too Cool change from normal budget to promo budget and go back and forth. So that's called a repeated game. And then sequential game is when firms apply strategies sequentially. Final outcome depends on who moved first. Rivals must respond. First mover advantages from those first, may be better prepared, may prevent entry of rival. So then last word, internet oligopolies. So the internet became accessible to the average person in the mid-1990s. It's dominated by a few firms, and they can collude potentially and try to maximize profits by working together. That's that there. So let's go through our next activity here. Let's try this here. So a person or business who creates something or performs a service in exchange for purchase or trade. What's that called? Let's try hands here. Those no hands. So how about do you want to try Kelsey? What about Daniel? You want to try? Producer, yeah, that's great. Great job. Oh, great job, you got it. Something that a person or business does for you. What's that called? Great job, Daniel. Oh, what's this? Service. Excellent. It's great. Excellent. And then tangible item you can purchase. Good. Excellent. Great job. Great job. Excellent work. That was great. Great job. Well, let's try this. So, situation in which quantity demand is greater than quantity supplied. Is that a shortage, true or false? Great job, Daniel. That was awesome. True. And then definition term is, do these match up? Excellent. Do these match up here? uh, structure. And then P is less than ATC. Exit. Is that true or false? Say true. Total tax paid by the total income. Is that average revenue true or false? Say false. Then the amount of a good. Oh, sorry. Okay, good job, Kelsey. You're right. The amount of a good that buyers are willing and able to purchase, is that quantity demanded? True or false? Excellent. Perfect. Great job, both of you. Daniel and Kelsey, great work. And then the amount of good that sellers are willing and able to sell, what's that called? Excellent. Great job. Then choose matching term. What's that called? Let's try marginal cost pricing. What are goods sold? What are goods produced abroad and sold domestically? Excellent. Then the property of society getting the most it can from scarce resources that maximize the total surplus received by all members of society. What's that called? Excellent. Yeah, good job, Kelsey. That's great. And then a parable that illustrates why common resources are used more than it's desirable by the standpoint of society as a whole. What's that called? That's a good point. A good try. It'll be tragedy of the commons. So yeah, tragedy of the commons, because that's we're using basically too much resources. But good try, Daniel. Then so click a term to match the definition. So the property whereby long run average total cost rises as the quantity of output increases. What's that called? Okay, it's okay. Just diseconomies of scale. And then the idea that taxpayers with a greater ability to pay taxes should pay larger amounts. What's that called? Yep. Good job, Kelsey. That's great. And goods that are neither excludable nor rival in consumption. What's that called? Excellent. Great job. Great job, both of you. And a tax designed to induce private decision makers to take account of the social costs that arise from a negative externality. What's that called? Excellent job, both of you. Then total revenue minus total costs, including both implicit and explicit costs. Excellent job. This is great. And then a situation in which economic actors interacting with one another each choose their best strategy given the strategies that of all other actors have chosen. What's that called? Yep. Great job. And what are goods produced domestically and sold abroad? Great job, Daniel and Kelsey. That's great. Then the uncompensated impact of one person's actions on the well-being of a bystander. What's that called? Oh, that's okay. I think it's negative externality, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's that. Then altering incentives so that people take account of the external effects of their actions. That actually might be negative externality as well. I'm not sure, but does anyone have any ideas for this one? Okay, that's okay. I'll just put negative externality. So then a graph of the relationship between the price of the good and quantity supplied. What's that called? So let's just say supply curve, some tests. So yeah, shorted situation in which quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied, shortage. Okay, so we had to reverse this. Okay, economies of scale is good. Price less than ATC, exit if, yes, true. Total tax paid divided by the total income, average tax rate. The amount of a good that buyers are willing and able to purchase, quantity demanded. The amount of a good that sellers are willing and able to sell, quantity supplied. Marginal cost pricing for a natural monopoly. Goods produced abroad and sold domestically, imports. The property of society getting the most it can out of most scarce resources that maximize the total surplus received by all members of society. Efficiency, parable that illustrates why common resources are used more than desirable from the standpoint of society as a whole. The comments. The property whereby a long run average total cost rises as total quantity of output increases is diseconomies of scale. The idea that taxpayers with greater ability to pay taxes should be paid larger amounts, vertical equity. Goods that are neither excludable nor rival in consumption, public goods. A tax designed to induce private consumption decision makers to take account of the social costs that arise from negative externality, corrective tax, total revenue minus total cost, including both implicit and explicit costs of economic profit. Situation in which economic actors interacting with one another each choose the best strategy given the strategies of all the other actors have chosen the Nash equilibrium. Goods produced domestically and sold abroad exports. The uncompensated impact of one person's actions on the well-being of bystander externality. Altering incentives so that the people taking account of the external effects of their actions, internalizing the externality. Graph of the relationship between the price of the good and the quantity supplied, supply curve. So great job, Kelsey and Daniel. That was awesome. Great job. So we'll do our next PowerPoint here. So bring it up here. So we're going to go through technology, R&D, and efficiency. So I'll get that started here. So technological advance creates better products, new products, better ways of producing and distributing these products, occurs over the very long run, and shifts the production possibilities curve outward. So short run, there's no change in technology, plant, and equipment. Long run, no change in technology. Very long run, technology change with R&D. So technological advance is the three-step process of invention, innovation, and diffusion. Invention is new product process based on scientific knowledge, patent protection. So innovation is product innovation, process innovation, and we can't patent it. Diffusion is spread of innovation through imitation or copying. So it's crucial to capitalism. So Korea has the highest total R&D expenditures as a percentage of GDP. Israel is second. Sweden is third. Japan is fourth. United States is fifth. France is sixth. China is seventh. Canada is eighth. Great Britain is ninth. Russia is 10th. So it's good to spend a higher percentage of your GDP on R&D because this is great for growing your economy. So capitalism is driving force behind technological advance. Profit is the incentive. Rivalry among firms is the cause. Starts with the company. So entrepreneurs are focused on combining land, labor, and capital to produce new goods and services. So entrepreneurs can form startups, innovate among existing firms, and so yeah, so we want to make sure that we have optimal R&D. So we want to have our research and development done in a way where marginal benefit equals marginal cost, is efficient, is optimal R&D. So that's what we want. And then we want expected, not guaranteed returns. So there's a great level of risk. And then, yeah. So we want so it's important for us to be first. First mover advantage is key in technology. So being first is really important to being being dominant. So Facebook was one of the first ones to social media, and that's why they're so. That's one of the reasons why they're so dominant. Not the only reason, but having a patent, copyright, and trademark is important because you have protection from people copying what you do. Also, brand name recognition, like a brand like McDonald's has a lot more value because we trust it as a company, right? So like McDonald's has like one of the highest recognized brand names in the world. So when we see it, we have a lot of nostalgia about the brand. Coca-Cola as well, and we know the brand and we know it's good, so we go there. Then trade secrets are they trade secrets are if you can't patent something, you can't patent product formula like Coca-Cola or McDonald's. So it's a trade secret. So you can't patent the food recipe. So it's a trade secret. So they hide it from public view because they can't patent it. So these are the patent holdings. So Japan has the highest patent holdings in the world. Then Germany, Taiwan, and South Korea. And these are all the US patents. So pure competition is very important to technological progress because there's incentive to innovate because of competition, but there's a low rate of return because there's no profits in perfect competition, no economic profits. The monopolistic competition, there's a lot of differentiation of products, so you have to innovate to differentiate. And then oligopoly, there's a lot of money that they have to finance R&D, but there's a lot of complacency because they don't really have a lot of competition on oligopoly. So they don't really need to innovate to stay competitive in an oligopoly. So that's the problem with an oligopoly. They don't innovate a lot because they don't have to worry about competitors that much because they're kind of safe in their industry. Pure monopoly. The problem with pure monopoly, there's not a lot of incentive to innovate because you're the only company in the industry, and you don't really have to do anything to stay in the industry because you're the only company. There's no competition, so you don't have to worry about making better products. So that's the problem with that in terms of making technology, because they don't really have to care because they know that they're always going to be safe regardless of their quality of products. So productive efficiency, innovation enhances productive efficiency because it reduces per unit costs, and then allocative efficiency, it makes the society have a more preferred mix of goods and services. So it's important to have a high percentage of gross domestic product spent on research and development. So Canada has they spent 34 billion on research and development in 2015. It's very important to spend more and more on it, and that's good for
Canada that have really too much market power, which would be Bell, Rogers, and TELUS, and that's in all of Canada except for Saskatchewan, where they have their own service provider that they use. And because of all of this market power, they actually end up charging more money than other companies do in other countries because they have more competition. And we know that the market power is obviously the ability to raise the prices above the level that would be seen in a more competitive market. And I looked it up, and it was to reduce the amount of market power. Obviously, there needs to be an increase in competition. However, wireless service providers that try to enter the market usually face barriers in launching services, and consumers also face barriers in switching their providers, which obviously leads to limitations on competition. Now, the Canadian government is actually taking steps to help competitors establish themselves in the Canadian wireless service market. So the government is requiring Bell, Rogers, and TELUS to give regional competitors wholesale access to their wireless networks. Now, this could help competitors grow their customer base while they build their own networks. And the hope here is obviously that this will help promote competition, lower prices for consumers, and increase infrastructure technology, as these new companies should come in and create their own infrastructure. So obviously the negatives when it comes to the economy is because, like, basic economic theory states that companies who have to compete for customers leads to lower prices, higher quality of goods and services, greater variety, and more innovation. It also helps with when they want to compete for workers, they have to increase their compensation and improving working conditions. Now, since Bell, Rogers, and TELUS have a lot of the market power in Canada, it obviously creates an economy that produces higher prices, lower quality of goods and services, less variety, and less innovation, and reduced compensation working conditions for workers. So all, pretty negative things when you think about how an open market should really be.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, excellent work, Kelsey. Yeah, wow, that was great. Would you be interested in sending this to the government? Like, would you be open to that?
Sure. Actually, I got most of this information off of the government website.
Oh, great, excellent. Yeah, because I could send it to some government officials and credit you for it, or if you want to send it on your own, just let me know if you would be interested in that.
Yeah, go ahead. You can send that off.
Great, excellent. Because this is very relevant to the Shaw and Rogers situation right now. The Competition Bureau wants to block the merger, and I agree with that because it's too anti-competitive for them to merge together. So this is this is useful for them to prevent any merger like that in the future. So great work, Kelsey. Thanks. That was great job. So with this here, so you put, oh, I see in the Google Doc, you put BBTB, APS, SU, ACB, and NFG. Do you want to speak on those ones? Which what types of companies are those?
So actually, usually when I look at stocks, I look at stocks that are low in price but have a greater increase in potential. So usually I look at stocks that obviously are having an increase in their stock profile. That way I know they're going up. I personally have one NFG, which is Newfound Gold. I'm from Newfoundland, so I have a little bit of an insider that we've actually found they think one of Canada's biggest gold mines in Newfoundland. So I was very interested in looking forward to buying some of their stocks, because if that's the case, there could be a potential income there.
Oh, that's great. That's great strategy. Thanks, Kelsey, for sharing that. That's great. Yeah, I wanted to provide like the class with the opportunity to do some stock like practice and research, because it's a good way to, if you wanted to, you can make a career out of it if over time, like investing your earnings, and then eventually you could potentially live off of it as well. And it's a very good career path, and like you could start your own investment fund. So it's a good opportunity for people. And also if you wanted to work in the banking industry as well, that's a good way to start with that.
Yeah,
So
I started dabbling in Wealthsimple, just like small amounts, because I wasn't sure what I was doing. So I've kind of been looking up, researching, obviously, and just doing a little bit here and there to see what I should be doing and how to operate everything. The worst, actually, it turned out pretty good for me, not for my brother, but my brother was like, "Oh, you have to buy these GameStop stocks," and I laughed. So I was like, "Okay, well, they were really down. I think they were at, I don't even know, probably in the 90s at the time." So I was like, "Okay, I'll buy like 2 of them." And then they went up to like 160, but I saw that they were going down again. So I was like, "Screw it, I'm going to sell them," because I knew that they were pretty volatile, going up and down all the time. So I sold them when I had made some money off of them. And now I think they're like $28.
yeah, the hype, it seems like the Wall Street Bets hype around that stuff has really reduced, and it was really, there was a lot of hype for a while, but it seems like it's kind of evaporated. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Kelsey, for all that. That's great. So with your businesses, Kelsey and Daniel, like this is not mandatory. If you do want to talk a bit about your business for the 10% bonus assignment, feel free right now. But if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. It's just it is kind of like if you wanted to talk a bit about it, feel free. Or if you choose not to, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I could talk about it.
Oh, that'd be great. Sounds good.
So actually, funny enough, I do have kind of my own business. It's not fully taken off. I started making candles as just like a bit of a side hobby, because a lot of candle companies use paraffin in their candles, which is a byproduct of crude oil. So it's not very economically friendly. So I started making candles made out of soy wax and beeswax. So it's a bit of a soy wax, beeswax blend. And I've created a bunch and I've sold them to friends and family. So it was kind of fun actually making a website based off of some of my candles that I've already made. So I already had pictures and everything like that. So I started to set up the original, like the first page, but I haven't gotten into any of the other side pages for the website. But yeah, I do have like the full page for the website. I did it on Wix, so it's already like up on the internet, but I created obviously false information of like where it's located and stuff like that, because I don't actually have the time to be making candles at the moment. and it's called Get Lit Candle Company.
Oh, that's great. That's great, Kelsey. That's awesome. Yeah, great name too. That's great. Great job on that, Kelsey. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing all that, Kelsey. Uh, Daniel, do you want to speak on it? You don't have to. It's totally optional. But yeah, it's totally up to you if you want to speak on it right now.
Well, I don't have a business or anything like that going on right now, but I did help my sister before moving back to Canada. She kind of started her own marketing company, and she was focusing mainly on what do you call these things? Um, like ah shit, I lost the word, but she was basically working with one of with the equivalent to Rogers back in Mexico, with their like Christmas whatever campaign, and so I helped her out with that a lot before moving back to Canada. But yeah, that would be as close as I've gotten to having my own business. Because like, I mean, I've been bartending for the most part of the last 10 years. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to think of any other instances in which I've had any contact with my like even the idea of starting my own business.
Oh, great job, Daniel. That's awesome. Yeah, for you could for the 10% bonus assignment, you could talk about that opportunity. That'd be great. Yeah, and it sounds great what you're doing. And yeah, for you could just describe what you're doing with your sister, um, with that company, and that would work for the 10% bonus. But yeah, great job, Daniel. Great job, Kelsey. Thanks for sharing all that. That was great. Um, yeah, and thanks for coming in today. Thanks for you know, thanks for participating and showing up today. Appreciate all your great participation. Yeah, it was a great class, and I think we'll close it out for today. I'll give you some time to do the how the market works stuff and also the bonus assignment and the discussion board. But do you have any more questions today, Daniel and Kelsey?
No, not really.
Okay. What about you, Kelsey? Sure. Okay. Great work today. Yeah, both of you did great work, and thank you again for all your great work today. And hope you have a great rest of the day. And feel free to, uh, yeah, great class, everybody. And feel free any questions you have, just email me. And